the Humans of Hemp podcast. Be part of the conversations we've never had and the stories we've never shared. So, let's dive in. So, we'll start the podcast. We are the Humans of Hemp, as you know. So, you are a human who works towards hemp and cannabis. So, we've invited you on our channel and we want to know more about you. What do you do first? Because this is a completely new field. People who are going to join us won't know anything that's going on in the industry. So first, a little bit about you.
Well, I think I'm just a simple nobody who has had the opportunity to come out and see this industry grow. I'm from California. I grew up at a time when cannabis was illegal in California, and then it went to medical, and then it went to recreational. I'm old enough to have seen different nations be illegal and then legal, to see it go just quite honestly for the sake of taxation money. It's a very interesting industry for all the things that we see from the hemp side and the hundreds of thousands of great products that can be out there to help humanity and help the world. Yes, all of that is true, but there's still this underlying force of it's got to be economically viable if it's going to get ahead and compete.
That's true.
So, we're very excited to see so many countries doing so many things on so many levels. And now here in India, it's really excited because you get this really educated bunch of, I'll call them young people or Gen Xers or millennials or whatever you want to call them, who have access to so much information. They're well-traveled. They see what's happening everywhere else in the world. And they're like, we can do the best of those things here at home. Like, why have plastic bags when we can have hemp bags? Why have other materials when we can have hemp materials? Why chop down billions of trees for toilet paper when we're having to use water or maybe even hemp paper?
Yeah.
There's so many things that our youth today can change the whole face of this nation. And we don't need politicians and other people to do that. I think just our people, just like your Humans of Hemp, everybody just kind of thought for the next person.
Yes.
And what would it feel like if it happened to me? Or what would I do if I wanted it to happen to me?
Yeah.
And if we all just took that little step, how much better all of our lives would be.
That's true. So you're meaning to say that the Indian scenario is really like brewing right now, something is brewing, and the outcome, what do you feel about the outcome?
I think India is trying to navigate, I don't know if it's been man-made created or created by the West, but in this traditional nation, we have always been users of cannabis or bhang or whatever it is written in the old scriptures and the old diaries. That has always been there up until what. And now we seem to still be holding on to this what kind of regime of, oh, it's bad, it's this, it's that. When we know factually as an educated society that in the thousands of years of documented cannabis use, there's no death, there's no craziness, there's no suicide. And unless you get hit by a truck loaded with cannabis running from the police, there's not much of a chance of you dying from it. So, I know I'm making a joke of it, but other nations have seen this.
I look at this like positive sarcasm.
Yes.
It's a satire on the situation, no?
But this is why I'm saying we can be forward. We can be like mobile technology was to the old wired copper phone line. We can leap ahead of everybody. We can see what every country has done. We can see the good. We can see what we like, what we don't like, what mixes with our culture as a nation. Take the best of all of that.
Yes.
And then at the end of the day, behave like business people, create special economic zones, and the place where it has to be recreational, we'll go. The place where it has to be medical, we'll go. The place where it has to be made into pills, do that. God knows we have special economic zones for everything else.
Yes.
If we feel that it is an issue of protecting the values of our culture, then go with the SEZ route. if you feel that we are strong enough as a culture to make our own decisions, then it's already out there. It's already open. It's not that cannabis and bhang is illegal. It's allowed in shops. It's happening with leaves. It's happening on festivals.
Yeah.
It's just taking a different form.
And that's because there is no strong know-how. The policy of the state is different. The policy in the center is different. And of course, coming from the tech background, like, you employ people from IITs and stuff. There is so much resources that can be put together, so much employment that can be generated from different fields. Could you shed some light on that?
So, exactly. In fact, we're a technology company. We make lighting. We make the light. And the actual goal of this company started out in a dream of space, to tell you the truth, that, hey, if Elon Musk wants to go to Mars, he's got to eat on the way there, and he's got to eat when he gets there. And what better than grow lights? And we have found that in the testing of our grow lights, we were able to grow everything along the spectrum, and even advanced fruits like strawberries and saffron, and really, really tough things to grow. And for us, that gave us a lot of motivation. But then on the other aspect, I'm certainly a cannabis activist. I'm not going to say it's only for medicine.
Yes.
It's for recreation and it's for medicine. I believe in both. And coming from that background, it was very clear to me that cannabis as an industry is a $100 billion industry. Vertical farming, ladies and gentlemen, is a $20 billion industry. So when you talk about the glories of eating and feeding the world, which is what we want to do, it is dwarfed by people's desire to want to smoke cannabis. So
Yes.
just like we are able to now as a government tax alcohol and tax cigarettes, let us just tax the cannabis and, get over it. America is a mixed dichotomy in some ways, in that federally it's not allowed from the government level, but each state allows it.
Yes.
And as each state allows it, they make announcements like Missouri, in its first month of tax collections, collected $1 billion in tax revenue. It just dwarfs all other kinds of tax revenue. And, whether you like it or not, where are they going to get the money from? And either big corporates should start paying a fair share of tax, or you start collecting it this way. And as we see what countries are doing. It is a tax collection routine along. And on top of all of that, which kind of makes it funny, is that nowhere where cannabis has become legal, Canada, US, parts of Europe, South America, is there any increased crime? There's nothing across the board.
There's a study that came out just day before yesterday that cannabis has reduced the drug addiction of people who were using opioids or something like that earlier.
And I think its usage is out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Whether it's legal or illegal, it's there. But I think if we just opened up more about it, it would be of benefit to hospitals, schools, roads, rehabilitation programs. So many economic programs that are out there in which they use what they call sin tax for this. Okay? I mean, lotteries, gasoline, cigarettes. Where do you think the government's funded from? So this is a huge cash cow. And
this is some tax that people were willingly paying.
And as I said, India has the real beauty of taking the best of what others have done and leaving behind the worst. Okay? If we don't want shops and we don't want Amsterdam and San Francisco and what's going on, Tika, don't do it.
Yes.
Regulate it, give licenses, make it SEZs, export it out. If it's only supposed to be for medicine, no problem. Make the best medicines. And those medical companies are heavily regulated anyway. They already are regulated by the Narcotics Bureau and the police and every second person who thinks they have authority. So what's the big deal? Let them at least grow cannabis instead of cannabis that has 58% fecal material on it, which is what the cannabis is that our current batch of manufacturers have to work with there in India. And it's sad for them. It's difficult for their work. It's bad for the industry. And patients don't get the right sorts of medications.
That's true. So if at all we were talking of a scenario like a state like Himachal, commonly, legalizes and invites people who are into the hemp and into the hemp business, there is hemp at the parallel field. Do you think hemp can surpass Apple in the coming years?
Hemp can grow 3 times a year. Apples grow 3 times in a year. Hemp can grow on the most garbage of land, even polluted land, and it will rejuvenate that land and clean the land. So throw it right down there in the fields, in between the crops and during the dormant cycle, and its leaves, its droppings, everything will rejuvenate your crop.
Yes.
So you're not. This is not a competition of A or B. This is like the gardener who plants tomato along with piyaz along with potatoes all in the same field. They all grow together.
That's true.
So
the revenue is there. It's just that the intent has.
The revenue is there, and then the as I said, we possess the intelligence. We just have to give the right kind of seeds, the right kind of crop, so that the right things are grown, so that is sold correctly. Whether it's for fiber, whether it's for seed, whether it's for herd, whether it's for medicinal purposes and flowers, but they need the right materials.
I think we've covered on.
I just wanted to add that we're just thrilled to see the Humans of Hemp, everything that you're doing. I love the fact that you're taking people out and really showing them in nature and in the forest. And we really look forward to seeing more and more of your activities, and anything that we can do to be part of it. We're always there.
Definitely.
So please do remember.
We anyways follow your work all the time, and we get inspired to do something for sure. And let's see how the collaboration works.
Thank you so much for having me.